Welcome to John Essex Sports Channel. It is FA Cup weekend, so there's very few games on in League One, but we are going to go through them. We'll call it League One Week 26. There's lots of different weeks involved here now with all the frozen pitches last weekend. We're going to start with Luton versus Stevenage. Luton in 8th, Stevenage in 7th, and we'll go and have a look at the last 6 games and see what you guys are thinking, and then we'll see what the form is, and we'll come up with a prediction. So Luton Town, draw, lose, win, lose. Now, as they went into came out of the Wycombe game 4-0 winners, I thought, actually, they showed signs, this Luton team, that they were starting to get really clinical up front. Some really good shots in the net as opposed to shots on target. The ratio is really critically very good indeed. And then they came up against Exeter. This last game, Exeter 1, Luton 0. And if you actually looked at this game, you would have seen that the Exeter side actually managed to keep Luton Town to 0 shots on target and only 7 shots in the entire game, even though Exeter let Luton have 62% of the possession. Luton have, at the beginning of the season, been guilty of this. Lots of possession in their own half, and almost 0 times into the back final third. This Exeter side turned them around extremely well and managed to get 16 shots of their own, 5 on target and 1 in the net. They would have been gutted they didn't get more, because Luton Town, they allowed Luton Town a little bit too much of the ball. Had they got more of the ball, Lord knows how many goals they would have scored. So Exeter won that one 1-0, and Luton Town lost for the first time in 3 games. Yes, they have been a little bit poor up to this last 3 games, and I did think they were improving. I think they will continue. How about Stevenage though? Lose, win, draw, lose, draw. These have been firming up that defence, and if you look at the Plymouth game, Stevenage won, Plymouth won. And I really did think Stevenage would win this one quite easily. It was really quite even. Not many shots on target, about 5 shots on target in the entire game, if you count both sides added together. Plymouth, I think, had about 2 shots on target. And Stevenage have carried on in this game to create a really good defence. And this is why I'm sort of bringing that in, because if Stevenage can do that against a Luton side that just couldn't get into that final third, then it doesn't actually bode well for Luton Town. Now, what are you lot saying? Because I've got a feeling I may be going for my own conclusion here. We've got Luton versus Stevenage 3-1, 3-1, 2-1, 2-1. I'm going to go 2-1. I'm going to go on my own. I'm going to go Luton Town 1, Stevenage 2. I think Stevenage can do this one. Sorry, guys. I just think that if they do the same as at Exeter, then they could come unstuck. Against a Stevenage side that have been getting the run of the ball, remember. Let's go next to Stockport versus Huddersfield. Again, it's a 12:30 kickoff. We've got Stockport in 6th. We've got Huddersfield in 4th. Again, a Stockport side that's been getting the run of the green a few times against a Huddersfield side that's been just doggedly determined, I think. And no defeats in the last 6 for Huddersfield, 3 defeats for Stockport. So it's been lose, win, draw, lose. Last time out, it was a surprising one for me. It was an 89th minute winner for Reading from Lewis Wing, the great guy himself. Lewis Wing won, Stockport County 0. And this was actually a lot more even than you think. There were actually plenty of shots in this game. I mean, you're talking almost 30 shots in the entire game. It would be really good to watch. It was really good to watch. But with 4 or 5 on target for both teams added together in the entire 90 minutes, sorry about that, it really didn't bode well for lots of chances, did it? Not open net chances. And Stockport County came with, and although Stockport County have got a good defence, here they really did stop the home side from getting many shots on target. Most of them were blocked, in fact, from Reading perspective. And then Reading also had a very good defence. And most of Stockport County's shots were blocked. So both of these ties decided on the every man back when the opposition's attacking. It was a good game overall, but the number of shots on target, 3, I think it was for Reading, 2 on target for Stockport. You would have expected a draw from this. I think that it would have been a little bit disappointing for the fans there. But I'm sure Stockport County fans will be relishing this one against Huddersfield. Huddersfield draw, win, 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 draw, draw. And they've been doggedly determined. Like I said, last time out it was Huddersfield 2, Exeter 2, and Exeter came back on 89 minutes with a goal left to equalise. And Exeter, for me, I said Exeter have been improving. Exeter actually, as far as shots on target, were ahead of Huddersfield. Huddersfield with, I think, 15 shots, 4 on target for Huddersfield. They weren't firing very well. And they need to get more of those on target. They have done. In the past, they have had games where their ability to get a shot on target was an awful lot better than 4 out of 15. So they'll have been a bit disappointed they didn't get more goals. 4 on target out of 15, 2 in the net. Yeah, pretty good, but more of those 15, please. Exeter will have been going home thinking, yeah, actually, we could have won that one. We could have won that one. So, what do you say? Stockport versus Huddersfield, 2-1, 2-2, 0-2 and 1-1. So we're going absolutely every direction. I do notice that more often than not, you lot are going for a draw. I'm going to go the same. I'm going to go where Stockport 1, Huddersfield 1, and we'll go to the next game. Which is, yes, it's Bradford Rotherham, guys, my team. Bradford in 3rd, Rotherham in 22nd, and we're looking very, very shaky here. It's Bradford win, lose, win, win, lose, win. And it's Rotherham lose, 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 lose. Yes, 6 on the trot here. And it looked very, very ominous when we were going to play Mansfield at the weekend. Not only had we lost 6 in a row, but we actually, it was going to be touch and go whether we managed to get a full team out. So that was going to be, very, very critical. And it will be critical this weekend. Bradford really have started to get back into playing good football. They started well, then they had a bit of a blip, and they've just started to get back now for me. I did get the score right last time Bradford played, and really good on that one. Thank you to the Bradford fan for saying so. Bradford, Rotherham. Right, Bradford last time out. We'll go with the Blackpool 1, Bradford 2. Too many B's in this. It was quite a dull game as far as both sides were really very, very tight on the defence, not wanting to really let the opposition win. Basically, it sent more like I don't want to lose this game. Blackpool 3 shots on target, Bradford 3 shots on target. None of the passing was brilliant. If anything, Blackpool's was slightly better than Bradford's. However, I think that overall this game was pretty dull for me as an outsider. But only because neither of these teams wanted to lose. 67-minute winner there for Bradford from Will Swan, of course. And they came away with a win. And that's about all you can say, I think, in this game. Do I have to go through the Rotherham side? 6 defeats in a row. Last time out, it was Peterborough. It was Rotherham 0, Peterborough 2. Of course, we scored the first one for them, Rafferty, and then they scored the second one on 73 through Keller. they had all the play. I mean, it was almost 66% possession for Peterborough, and they had 20 shots and they had 7 of them on target. On a different day, they probably would have won this game 3-4-0. However, they managed to somehow come away with a 2-0 win. The Peterborough fans would have been thinking, why wasn't that double that score? And the Rotherham fans were coming away with 3 shots on target at home, thinking, this is just not boding well, is it? The passing for Rotherham was absolutely atrocious. It was one of the poorest in the league that weekend. Whilst for Peterborough, it was one of the best passing performances of that game week. So that's about all you can say. Peterborough just took advantage of the fact that Rotherham were absolutely garbage. But they didn't do as much as what they could have done, did they? So, let's give that to Rotherham. At least they stopped them playing when they had the ball. Sometimes. Bradford versus Rotherham. Oh, I don't want to look at this. 2-0, 2-1, 3-0, 2-0. I'm going straight in at that one. I'm going to agree with you. I'm going to go for Bradford 3, Rotherham 0. Sorry, guys. We'll go on to the next one, which is Orient versus Cardiff. Now, Leyton Orient have been a little bit up and down for me. However, Cardiff are first, of course, in the league. Orient are 20th, and Orient have been going up and down, and they've been doing some good games, some bad games. Let me just look at Leyton Orient's last 6. Draw, lose, win, lose, lose, lose. The win was against Bradford, of all teams, 2-1. Just about when Bradford was starting to just not do so well. And it was straight after a 3-2 defeat for Leyton Orient against Barnsley. And that was a good performance as well. Last time out, though, Leyton Orient won Wimbledon 3. And they really did. They went ahead, but against the run of play for me, because the whole game was, although Leyton Orient did manage to keep the ball better, they had about 55% possession. And that was probably the result of the game. The passers, they had a little bit more passing ability, a little bit more class than Wimbledon, a little bit more style. They kept the ball better, they passed it better, they tackled better. But they didn't do anything with it. 2 shots on target for this team, and 3 of them off target. So, none of them blocked. So they weren't just wellying it. They were actually trying to shoot. But not very well. Wimbledon, 5 shots out of 11, and from their 45%. And actually, it did look like that. It was a very poor game. Not much shooting for me. Wimbledon, they did have a few blocked. They were tending to just welly it somewhere around that goal area. Sometimes it works and it pays off. Sometimes it doesn't. In this case, it did. 5 shots on target, 3 in the net. And Wimbledon come away with it. And on a different day, like I say, shooting it like that sometimes works, sometimes doesn't. For Wimbledon, this time it did. So we go to Cardiff. Now, I actually have been watching this and thinking Cardiff have been playing a little bit poorer for me. And you just look at the scorelines. Their scorelines were very, very impressive. Lose, lose, win, win, draw, win. And you'll be thinking, you can't say that. They are absolutely firing on all cylinders. The last 4 games, 3 wins, 1 draw. And that draw was against Wickham, and they're damn good. But Chelsea 3-1 defeat, can't count that. 2-1 away defeat to Lincoln. And I was just starting to think there that this high-scoring, high-flying Cardiff side was just finding it a little bit tough, probably through fatigue and people not being on the pitch. Will it continue? Well, no, it didn't. 3 wins and 1 draw, but 1-0 win against Exeter at home, 2-1 win at home to Stevenage, a 1-1 draw away at Wickham, and then the last time a 1-0 win at home to Wigan. And these are the sides that have been trying to gel. Wigan's side has been trying to gel, and I'm thinking, well, Cardiff should be able to beat them because they're not quite gelled yet, which is a bit of a shame. They have got some really good players. However, it was only 1-0 and they went ahead 24 minutes, and you have to think that when they did that, they must have been thinking they're going to really romp home in this one, 2-3-0 at least, and they should have done. Wigan only had one shot on target out of their 3 shots total. Tell you what, possession figures, look at this, 82% for Cardiff. 18 shots on target, which actually isn't that great for 82% possession. 8 of those 18 shots were on target and 1 in the net. Just not clinical enough. Just not being clinical enough. And if you look at the scores, although they're getting wins, the last 3 wins have been by 1 goal. You know, it's always going to be nerve-wracking for the fans. It's always going to be definitely nerve-wracking for the manager, isn't it? And it's going to be nerve-wracking for the players, which means they're going to be a little bit uptight right until the final whistle. So don't think that this Orient side haven't got a chance. However, the last 2 games for Leyton Orient, 6 goals have been conceded and only 1 scored. So it doesn't bode well for Leyton Orient. What are you thinking? Orient Cardiff 1-2, 1-3, 0-2, 1-2 and a 2-4. Not quite sure where the 2 goals are going to come from. Can I see a goal for Leyton Orient? You know, I'm going to give them one, but I'm going to go with... No, I'm not going to go with that one. I was going to go with that one. I'm not going to go with that. You're 1-2, 1-3, 0-2, 1-2 and 2-4. I'm going to go for one of my own. And I'm going to go with Leyton Orient 0, Cardiff 1. And have another 1-0 win in a row there for Cardiff. Who are next? The last ones are Peterborough versus Bolton. And this actually is an amazing game, isn't it? Because Peterborough down at the bottom earlier on. Bolton in 5th. Peterborough now in 12th. And believe it, they're only 7 points behind Bolton, who are in 5th. So it's a very flat league. And at the minute, they are doing what I said, which is getting better and better and better. Right, win, draw, win against Rotherham 2-0 and a low loss last time out. We have to look at this, guys. Lincoln City 5. Lincoln City 5, Peterborough 2. I'll give it to them. They didn't ever let their heads down at Peterborough. I don't think they really did let their heads down. I think they were a bit... Yeah, I mean they got quite good. I mean they on 56 minutes and Peterborough scored a second, and that would have been 3-2, wouldn't it? That would have been 3-2, and but 1 minute later it's 4-2, and you're thinking, for a minute there they almost had the thought of 40 minutes to 30 odd minutes to get an equaliser. But 1 minute later it was scuppered. Peterborough had all the possession. They actually had 68% possession. 14 shots, only 3 on target. But Lincoln, 32% possession at home, which is not very good. 15 shots, more shots from half, less than half the amount of possession. And 8 of those 15 on target, 5 in the net. This Lincoln side has been very clinical in front of goal, hasn't it? And Peterborough just couldn't respond to that clinical aspect that Lincoln had. They did what they usually do: give them a few shots, because down in League One they rarely get a team as clinical as what Lincoln were, and they just happened to hit Lincoln on a very good day. Lincoln City 5, Peterborough 2. Didn't really show what Peterborough could do, but it does show that the way Peterborough are playing it. I'm just hoping that they don't get a team that's damn clinical like Cardiff can be, or like Lincoln were. Bolton then win, lose, draw. And the last game was Bolton 0, Northampton 0. And again, I'm thinking, this side has been guilty of a few things over the season, and look at this: 70% possession, 17 shots, 0 on target. I mean, this is reminiscent of Sheffield United at the beginning of the season when they were bottom of the Championship. Doesn't matter how many shots you do. It was so that's 8 of those 17 are off target. The rest were just blocked. So this was a team in Northampton that did what they can do best: park the bus, see whether Bolton can get round them, and they just couldn't. This playing from the back just didn't work. As soon as they got up into the final third, Bolton just found a brick wall of Northampton, so they just welly it at this brick wall. None on target, none scored. Northampton had one shot. I will give it to Bolton. They had 3 clear-cut chances, and they were clear-cut, and perhaps they should have scored from, but they just went high and wide instead of going on target. So unfortunately, I'm afraid that doesn't count. Peterborough versus Bolton in the final game, 1-1, 2-2, 1-1, 2-2. Thank you, guys. That's really, really nice of you. Would I see 1-1? Bolton have scored 1-1 and 0-0 in the last 2 games. Peterborough can let goals in, like we saw there, and if I'm going to go for one of yours, let's go for that one there. Oh dear, you didn't give me much chance there, did you lot? Peterborough 2, Bolton 2. I nearly said 3-3 there. 2-2. I just wonder if it would be 3-3. However, that's my predictions based on your predictions and a bit of a look at the statistics and the form guide. Thank you for watching. Do like and subscribe to John Esses Sports Channel.